What's up, my friends? It's Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. We're here to make some money together. We're going to be looking at some NBA because we got a beautiful 12-game slate. I want to tell you real quick before we get started today, sponsors FC, thank you very much, my friends. If you do want to check us out, you actually get $20 to Fantasy Cruncher each and every month. That's $240 per year that you're one of our members. We got all sorts of data sheets, cheat sheets, player pools, core picks, all sorts of private streams. I don't know, guys. It's just a lot of content. It's all these sports listed at the top. We've got all sorts of stuff. I mean, literally just click the NBA homepage right now. You'd see X, Y, and Z that you would end up getting. And let me go ahead and bring that up on the screen for y'all so you can see what I'm looking at. You get all sorts of tools and models, things like this. And again, I'm going to post this real quick so you guys can check it out. It's in chat. Go ahead and grab that link. Now, why am I kind of highlighting this to start off your day, getting your $20 credit to FC? Well, every single day, 1 o'clock, we do this FC stream to support all FC members and Rise or Fall members in the use of FC. We try to gear it towards using our content into the optimizer as well so you guys can get your work done and make some money while you're right there on the site. Now, we have one promo code, and this is literally probably a limited Black Friday only. Code NBA is $10 off first month. Today only. Boom, there we go. And I'll pin that one so you guys can all see that. All right. So anyways, got all the business stuff out of the way. Let's get to work, my friends. Take a look. So we've got a great 12-game slate tonight. We've got a ton of players being out or news that can entirely flip the slate upside down. So we're going to look at some of these situations. We're going to look at some of these spots where you've got some guys that are just a little mispriced right now, honestly. And, I'm going to show you a few different ways today, ways to identify these players, what to do with players like this. I've talked about this in the past where you actually will group together some of the values and make like value groups. So let's go ahead and look into that. Chad, I see you all. I appreciate you being here nice and early. Thank you very much. If you can, and I might as well just do this nice and early too, because I normally don't, just hit that like button for us. That's super helpful for the stream, for the company, for the brand to kind of get us out there. Just hit that like button while you're watching. And if you didn't listen, but you're just kind of watching, and hoping to pick some stuff up, and you maybe got closed captioning on here, check this out. All right, there you go. That was a pretty cool graphic. I like it. I have to use it daily here. Makes me feel good about myself for all the time I put in all this stuff. All right, so tonight, and I pointed this out in chat as well, with OKC missing, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tonight, you're going to get more, Lou Dort at 5.4K or something, like just an outrageous value. Josh Giddey is still 6'2". What was the list? I pointed them out in chat. There were so many of them. Let me bring it up on Fanduel. I actually threw a bunch of these guys in my placeholder lineup just so I didn't forget about them. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Terry Rozier at 6'3". Like, what a cheat. What a cheat code. This guy's taking 20 shots. I mean, my goodness. You're paying 6'3" for a guy that, you know what? On a bad day, he might get you 20. On a real good day, you're getting 38, 39. On a great day, you're getting 45, 58. This is not unheard of for him to hit these levels. And it's not like he's got some weird matchup. No, there's no Patrick Beverly at point guard across from him or anything. Terry Rozier and LaMelo Ball should absolutely feast. And I don't mind playing them both in the same lineup. I think that they're phenomenal prices. LaMelo for 60 and Terry Rozier 2 games ago in the same game went for 45, 105 points between the two. They're just way too cheap. LaMelo continues to get 50 plus, hits the 60 mark. Here's 59, 63, 56, 50, 56. I mean, it happens more routinely than you'd think. And he's 9'3". Needs to be another $1,000 a day per slate. So anyways, you've got, some value there. Gideon Dort are value. Andrew Wiggins, 6'7". I like him continuing to shoot the ball. His shot is finally landing. I believe no Damian Lee, just more minutes on the wing. He's been playing a lot more minutes. He looks healthy. Finally looks like he's getting in the swing of things. He was 7'5", 8K last year for a stretch. I think we're kind of catching him while he's hot. Buddy Hield, he's going to play a massive amount of minutes tonight. if they end up missing Harrison Barnes or even Rashawn Holmes. I looked into it. Rashawn Holmes has missed, I believe, 2 games. In both those games, Buddy Hield started with the first unit, and I guess they just slid over the rest of the team. I don't know, but it was Utah, I think. Here's the Utah. He played 30 minutes, scored 32. And then maybe it was Portland or Cleveland. I can't remember. It was 2 games that are last like 20 or so I saw. And both the games he played over 30. One game he scored 32. The other one was like 28 points. At 5.3K, he's already a viable option in all formats, in my opinion. And then if you're just saying you got a shortened rotation without Barnes, a shortened rotation without Rashawn Holmes, or even if they're both out, my goodness, phenomenal. Julius Randle, underpriced. Bobby Portis, is he going to get mauled down low if Jokic starts? I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Wendell Carter, 5.5, an outrageous value. There's so many values, okay? So what do we do on slates where we've got all this value? Well, I think that's totally dependent on whatever site you're on. If you're playing a site like Fanduel, I'm going to be honest with you. For the most part, I'm going to take these projections. Let me grab them. I actually meant to update these, but I was doing that dad life thing, and then I just hopped on stream. So I'm going to download these real quick. I'm going to throw them into a fantasy cruncher, and we'll kind of do some work together right now. Whoops, I had to click that. Okay, so Study Hub is up, and let's see here. I got FanDuel open. When you have all of this value, just ridiculous amount of value over 5. My gosh, look at it all. Malik Beasley, I buried the lead. A guy who might get tremendous minutes tonight if Pat Beverly is out. And he played a ton last game, and he took like 18 shots. This guy will chuck up 7-8 3-pointers per game. Wendell Carter, we already pointed him out. Josh Giddey, gosh, I already forgot about Jakob Poeltl. I think they call him Turtle, right? The Turtle. Anyways, Jakob Poeltl here is 5.8K. I pointed out Wendell Carter at 5.5. That's 2 fine center options. Joe Val, right? Jonas Valanciunas. This guy was 9K for a stretch. Tough matchup tonight, but gosh, regression to the mean. His price dropped $800. 7.2 looks like he's kind of priced at his floor. Brogdon's been scoring 40 plus as of late. He's only 7.2. His price dipped 500. Will Barton, it's going to be a little bit of up and down with a guy like Will Barton, but we know for as long as Michael Porter Jr. is out, I actually think he's going to be better if Jokic is in. A little bit less pressure on him at 6K is a fine value. Daniel Gafford's getting minutes. Everyone's eating and feasting down low against OKC. Cat dropped to 8.8. Gosh, he was over 10K a few days ago. Sadiq Bey, it was 6K like 2 slates ago. The list goes on. Goodness gracious. You see price discounts. Here's Lou Dort, Terry Rozier, some guys I already talked about. Devin Vassell is out tonight. Short rotation out there for the Spurs. Keldon Johnson, Derek White. These guys are going to get minutes, And when you have all this value on a slate, I think it's honestly a little bit difficult for people to sometimes navigate these slates. Here, I'm going to download FanDuel. And I think it's difficult for people to navigate these slates. So I wanted to Cat gets the Hornets tonight, right? Again, it's just Hornets, OKC. There's certain teams I'm targeting with bigs. Let me upload the projections. And watch, I'm going to sort it in here too. It looks the same. It's the same thing, but it's the same names. Here's the Study Hub sorted by value. All right, upload the projections in here, sort by value. You can do the same thing right here. Aaron Wiggins got the start last game. These are empty minutes guys, right? So we've been talking about it for like 3 weeks now. Volatile value. When you have a tremendous amount of value on the slate, I'm not trying to target these guys who I think have low ceilings. We've got a guy in Aaron Wiggins, really not somebody who's going to stat pad or anything like that. Played 26 minutes, took a single shot. This is a day 2 draft pick in his second season, I believe. He's just not someone who, has the tremendous ceiling from what we know. Doesn't look like he really does a ton with his minutes and his small amounts of play time that he's had. And honestly, what's the point? So what? He starts at 3.6. Am I really missing out even if he goes for 28 points or something tonight? No, not too much. His ownership's likely going to be low. It's not like 40% of the field's going to leap you or anything like that. You can survive a super low owned volatile guy going for 30 points. You can survive that when you're on somebody else who might have 26, 24. Yeah, you got outscored by 8 points on your pivot, but you know what? It's not terrible. You can come back from that. You've got 8 other positions where you can leapfrog that person. Those small percentage of people out there that had 2% Aaron Wiggins, who goes for 28, and you had 24 out of your value option. You know what I'm saying? You can make those 4 points up in the other 8 spots if you have a good rest of the build. Now, we have a ton of value. So what are you going to do here? Well, I think 2 things. Number one, if you're on DraftKings today, I'm probably looking to set some type of limit. I don't know what that would be. I've been struggling over there on DraftKings. I have for a couple of years now, honestly, in NBA with just the multiple position eligibility, which you would think FanDuel would be more difficult this year, but it's not. I actually found it easier this year. I'm having one of the better NBA seasons I've had on FanDuel in a while. With NBA on DraftKings, not only do you have the dual eligibility, but then you have the guard and the forward and the utility eligibility. So sometimes you've got a point guard who's a point guard shooting guard. So that means they can be point guard, shooting guard, the guard position, and utility. That's 4 different roster spots. So you end up having like so much flexibility on DraftKings that I actually find it more difficult. I do. I find it more difficult to be consistent over there. I think ultimately you should be probably targeting as many point guards and centers as you can. And if that means you've got power forward center that fits in the power forward spot, a power forward center that fits in the center spot, power forward and center that fits in the forward spot, power forward center that fits in the utility spot, right? And you've got a bunch of point guards who are in the point guard, shooting guard, and guard spot as well. So, I mean, honestly, I bet if I probably took it another level and did something like that on DraftKings, I'd probably be better off. And if I were to do that, I would want to go to my advanced options and put them in groups. So I'd put all the point guard eligible people in a group and say use minimum 3. All the center eligible people in another group, a secondary group, and say use at least 3. And then you'll probably jam in all of those point guards and center eligible players into the point guard, shooting guard, guard, and utility, and into the power forward, center, forward, and utility spots. You'd have probably 6 of those 7 spots soaked up with your at least 3 from those 2 positions. And then your final 2 roster spots, heck, they might be a shooting guard, small forward, eligible guy who's in the small forward position. A guy like Josh Giddey, someone like that I'd be fine with, who might touch the ball a little bit more too, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out. And then, that last forward spot, I don't know. Maybe you do end up getting 7 guys who are point guard and center eligible. On FanDuel, I'm going to be totally honest with everybody watching the stream right now. I've never found that to be totally necessary. And I've been talking about this for a very long time. We're talking 3 weeks now, 4 weeks now. I did a video on this last year. Last year, my friends, I did a video where I showed people how to make money in the micro stakes. All right. Here's the micro stakes stream. I made this a members only video. Okay. And we showed this over the course of like 6 weeks, where literally it made like $1,200 in micro stakes, the nickel and the quarter. Now this year, the nickel on FanDuel is 150, the quarter often only 20 max. So it's slightly different. You have to approach it a little bit different for the 20 max, I think. But the nickel, I mean, you upload those projections, my friend, 1 unique, 2 unique, 3 uniques. I'll probably even keep it on 1 unique. The only thing at most I'm doing is looking for these volatile value guys like Aaron Wiggins. Let's see, even a guy like Bogdanovic, right? I mean, you're getting some games here where he will kind of sink you at 4-8, and he's questionable with a hammy. And then you've got all these other players in here who are similarly priced at the same positions, like Buddy Hield for 500 more at the same shooting guard, small forward eligible spot. And a guy who, yes, he's had a couple clunkers in here, but I think the minutes are going to be up tonight, where he's not sharing the rotation with a million guys. We know Buddy Hield in the past was all the way down here, 6'5". We've seen Buddy Hield at 7K before. And honestly, I just like his game a little bit more tonight. So a guy like Bogdan with a questionable hammy injury, who's already been very volatile this year, like maybe I just remove him so that some of my exposure goes to guys like Marcus Smart, who's been tremendous. He's been extremely consistent. They're likely missing Robert Williams. Jaylen Brown, I think, is still on some type of minutes limit as well. So you're still going to get 30-plus minutes out of this guy. He's rarely going to tank you. So that's all I'm doing. And again, it's like Lou Dort is a small forward shooting guard. Do I really want Bogdanovic to take exposure away from Dort tonight? I mean, Dort has literally scored 20-plus in every game of November, okay? 20-plus every game of November with 1, 2, 3, 4 games over 30. And again, now we have no SGA. We saw him have a 30.7 usage rate in 37 minutes and take 19 shots. Come on now. You're going to get Lou Dort doing that again tonight in a better matchup against Washington. Yeah, I want my exposure on Lou Dort. I don't want it here on Bogdanovic. And if you left him in there, I would probably assume some of your exposure will go there. So honestly, if that's what you want to do, simply go look at these plays, go look at the value on FanDuel, remove a player or two in the top 10, top 15, and just allow the projections to just be on the more consistent, the guys with lower standard deviations, higher probability of having a good game. Those types of guys filling out your pool, your exposures more often than not is the way to play on a site like FanDuel. So a guy like Derrick Rose is another one. Is he extremely volatile? Yeah, absolutely. Is he coming off an injury? Yes, he has. Absolutely. Were his minutes already slightly down beforehand? Yes, they were. They were starting to get Emmanuel quickly involved a little bit more. Alec Burks was also playing more minutes for the last 5-6 games going into Thanksgiving as well. So a guy like Derrick Rose at 4.6K. While I do like the price tag, I like the ceiling there. Again, do I want him to take away from a guy like Buddy Hield? Do I want him to take away from Marcus Smart, from Terry Rozier, from Lou Dort, which he will garner some exposure? I don't think I want that to happen. Now, Malik Beasley. All right, this is a volatile value god, but this is also somebody I think we likely will get a few more minutes out of if we are not going to have Patrick Beverley, who we saw Beasley go in there and do what he's done in the past when he gets extended run, and that's chuck up 3-pointers. Took 13 last game, 19 shots, 37 minutes. If Patrick Beverley being out means that we're going to get 28 plus minutes from Malik Beasley, I think he's a tremendous value. And what he also does is he fills in the role at the shooting guard small forward spot where I'm often just looking for someone who can score. If I can't get a point guard to take that shooting guard spot, if I can use Malik Beasley at the small forward position where honestly I'm looking for guys that can score because you're not getting a ton of points out of the small forwards these days. They're just kind of, I don't know if they're a dying breed statistically here, but that's kind of a pay down position. That's why you see guys like DeAndre Bembry garnering 40% ownership at 3.6K on a, an 8-game slate, whatever that was the one night, because people are looking for those value options at a terrible position, which is small forward. And it's when you sort by the value, he is so much higher than the rest of these guys. So anyways, I think FanDuel, honestly, that's what you're looking for more than anything else. You're looking at the value. You're trying to get rid of some of these guys who might just be a little bit more volatile than we want them to be. And that's it. We're just going from there. Even Daniel Gafford at 4.8. Like, he's somebody, you know what? Do I really, really want Daniel Gafford? I get the matchup is fine. He's been extremely volatile, but the center position is absolutely loaded. I feel like the opportunity cost of using a guy like Daniel Gafford is way too high. It's way too high. You are giving up way too much opportunity because you're worried about the cost at 4.8. And I understand that's not the perfect use of that term opportunity cost, but you understand the concept I'm trying to convey here. You are using a guy at a position where you want these higher end options that have tremendous ceilings at the center spot. And you only get one center per slate. If you're using your one center spot on Daniel Gafford, you might be foregoing the nuts build on the night. I don't think that's probably the way to play on a site like FanDuel. And again, if I were to leave all these guys in, let me throw these excluded players back in, okay? And I were to just crunch optimal 150s right now. Let's see. Do I have exposure to them? With my current early projections, it doesn't even look like it's too much of an issue. In fact, all 4 of these guys are not even being used. So that is actually freaking awesome. That makes me really, really happy about our projections. Look, and those guys, this is actually wild to me because they are right there. Look at our value. All our values are being used except the guys I just pointed out. Bogdanovic, Bamba did not make my list, but here he is. Wiggins and Gafford. Oh my, that's kind of nuts. There's Derrick Rose. Well, it looks like my intuition kind of aligns with what the initial projections are. Ton of exposure on Malcolm Brogdon, 7.2. Jovel kind of priced at his floor, right? I mean, golly, 3 games on the season since the 22nd, he's been under 30 points. He's 7.2K. Like, you can survive a 22-point night on a 7.2K center, but you know what you're really looking for? 46 bomb, 52, 46, 47, 48, 42, 59, 54. And maybe this is a factor of Brandon Ingram returning. Let's go look at Brandon Ingram real quick. When did he return? Ingram returned on the 13th, and the other games were before the 29th. Let's go look at Joe Val. So here are the games with Brandon Ingram back. And then the 29th. No, so he was exploding with Brandon Ingram earlier this year too. All right. He's just having a down stretch. Look at the usage, the minutes. Minutes might be down. Maybe this is partially, maybe I'm not paying attention. Maybe this was a blowout. Maybe they were getting slaughtered by Indy. And I think they were that game. They brought in like all their backups. Minnesota, they lost by 14. Maybe they were getting beat down there. Maybe they were winning huge against Washington, right? Because the usage, 35%, 33%, 39%, astronomical. The minutes aren't there. The usage is there. And when the minutes return in a competitive basketball game, which it should be tonight against Utah, I think they're, 10-point? Well, actually, I don't know if it should be. 10-point road dogs. But if the minutes return and the usage is going to be there, I don't know. But you guys get the point, right? What's up, Real King? Good to see y'all. Appreciate y'all today. Thank you for all the likes today. We're at 31 likes already. Okay. Would I consider the FC measure of consistency? I don't use that. I'm not too sure. It might be great. I think if you need help, the only thing I've used personally in the past is when you go over all the way here on the right, you look at the Sims model. Now, I understand Corey Joseph is up there. He played 7 minutes, though. You can't really predict stuff like that. Listen, so if you're using the Sim model chance to hit 5X, 5X, honestly, right here, this is one of the things I'm looking for. I want a lot. And look, a lot of these guys are going to be the higher value players, like Wendell Carter, who I already talked about, Joe Val, we just spent a little bit talking about, Josh Giddey, Jacob Podol, Malik Beasley, Malcolm Brogdon, Will Barton, Cat. We have talked about every single one of those players. All 8 of them are the first 8 players listed on the chance to hit 5X today, the highest probability of hitting 5X based on the model. And then, here's Vooch, who I think is on a minutes cap. I don't know if you want to do that. Gafford, that's where you just kind of make a stand. What do you want to do with it? Here's Dort, right? More guys we talked about. Bay, Keldon, White, Rozier. Golly, like the value just pops off the charts today. I don't know. Maybe you want to use 6X. So on and so forth. I find this very interesting, though. It looks like the projections are honestly all over where a lot of our spots are that we were talking about value-wise. If I sort by the exposures real quick, ton of exposure. Wendell Carter to begin, Joe Val, Cat. Then it goes Bobby Portis, Al Horford, Sabonis, Randall, Podol, Vooch. How many minutes he play? He played 26 already? Oh, come on, man. If Vooch is going to get 30 minutes plus today, he's got to get back to there, right? 30 minutes? 7.6K Vooch is totally in play. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to score 39 in 26 minutes. Wow. Look, it's just value. It's just value everywhere. Horford sliding over to center. This is one. This is maybe one I look at tonight, and I just kind of tweak things a little bit. Like Will Barton. He might struggle against the length of the Bucks. Okay? And in cash games at 6K, okay. But at 6K, and the highest projected owned player at the small forward position, if you were to outright just remove him, let's see where the rest of the exposure goes. Look at that. A lot more on Dort, more on Edwards without Patrick Beverley. 2 games this year without Patrick Beverley. He scored 65 and 39. I'm talking about Anthony Edwards, by the way. So as soon as I remove Will Barton, look where the rest of the exposure goes. It kind of goes on that group that I really, really like today. Got a little bit more exposure to Buddy Hield. Ton more to Lou Dort, who I love. I love floor ceiling combo players like this, where their floor often won't sink you at their price tag, but their ceiling can win you a tournament. A guy like Lou Dort, I feel like in the minutes and usage that he'll have tonight without Patrick Beverley and the matchup against Charlotte, or excuse me, against Washington, it's not like you're getting ridiculous defense out of Bradley Beal or Dinwiddie or whomever matches up against him. Like Dort, high 30s minutes, a ton of usage, takes a ton of shots. At 5'4", I mean, it's going to take him like a 2 for 19 shooting night to suck. And even then, he's going to return 20 points just by being on the court. It's hard for those people to fail. That's going to be a guy who I think is going to give you a great floor ceiling combo. I don't know if Will Barton does that at 6K. Flip their prices, and then the situation is totally different. Then I'm looking at Will Barton at 5'4", and I'm not looking at Dort at 6. Ton of exposure to Brogdon, Josh Giddey. Again, floor ceiling combos that I love. I mean, Brogdon's floor feels like, yeah, it had kind of a crummy stretch here. Okay, 3 games. Even at 27, you're not dead in the water with. And all they did was remove Barton. And I love everything more now. Trae Young's probable tonight. Nice. That's another guy that just seems totally mispriced. Totally mispriced. That's craziness. Super low standard deviation. Very consistent player. I actually wonder. I actually wonder if there is a path to have your value of certain levels, and then it's low standard deviation play like Mikal Bridges. Like Mikal Bridges would make a fine cash option in my mind. Like, yeah, there's better options tonight, but if you went with Mikal Bridges as your cash small forward tonight on FanDuel, I think that's fine. That's fine. You know why? Because he's got a little bit of a ceiling there. But, ultimately, he's just at one of the more volatile positions. He's just not going to sink you. Here's the regular season, 27, 42, 17. Okay, that's not good. 18, not good. And then the rest of them, there's a 15-point. But every other game, 20s. And almost 5X almost every single time. And he's playing better as of late. I don't know. Maybe they have injuries there or something out there. I think they do, actually. Who's missing? Is it Kaminsky or something? Maybe he's getting more minutes at the 4. I don't know. That's a thought for another day, but maybe that's something we should look at. Rivers is out. Does Rivers play for them? Denver. Mikal Bridges is Phoenix. I don't know. I think that's actually something that just kind of hit me while I was looking at the value. And some of these guys I continue to name, these like more consistent players. Like when they are a value on the night and they're also one of the better standard deviation players, maybe that screams supreme value. And those are the guys you should get high exposure to. Like Josh Giddey being one of the higher values and also has a pretty low standard deviation compared to the rest of the field. And check it out why. Check out why. Consistent as all get out. Yeah, I'll have a crummy game here and there, but that's life. 5 games, every other game looks like it's 30 plus almost. So, like, that's a guy who, when you crunch, you should probably have way more exposure than the field. Like, maybe that's a good way. Oh, shoot, man. I'm really thinking about it right now. I'm really wondering, maybe that's a way to start identifying what is good and bad value. You guys want to know what volatile value is? Heck, Maybe that's it. I've been talking about this for weeks. Let me look at DraftKings real quick. Yeah, exactly, Duke. You got it, brother. Yeah, the value options. I keep saying it. That term I've been using, the phrase is volatile value. I just tend to remove them. You want a volatile play, all right? You do it up here at 9.6 Ja Morant, a volatile 9.6, or a volatile Trae Young at 9.3, like something like that, right? Or Bradley Beal, DeRozan, these guys that have 55, 54-point ceilings, who are going to be lower owned because of the volatility. That's cool. That's fine. Down here, shoot, like Herbert Jones, one of the best values on the slate, points per dollar wise. You know what? Well, maybe at 3.3 he's in play. Let's find a better one. Jay Crowder. He's volatile value. Do you need to take... Oh, he's not even higher owned. Let me find a good one. Let me find a real good one. Brandon Clark might be it. He's not getting a ton of minutes. I know his minutes are on the rise because Jaren Jackson's been playing at the 5. Maybe we got to pay attention to this. Because if they continue to play Jackson at the 5 and he's going to keep getting minutes mid-20s, then... I mean, Brandon Clark, remember his price last year? It was last year or 2 years ago. Yeah, he was in the 5s. $6K. Here it is. Yeah, okay. There's one. Well, he's not higher owned. Maybe we don't have a great example today, and that's just that, guys and gals. Volatile value that's going to be higher owned is honestly something I'm totally not interested in. I'm just not interested in it. Volatile value, especially when there's so many fine options. Let me check something. So let's crunch this. Just see where the exposure goes. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm exploring right now, Duke. Then looking at the standard deviation afterwards. Like Kelly Oubre, right? Super volatile this year. He's a fine tournament option. A fine tournament option. Yeah, 29 points out of 4.2K, 26, 51, 27, 48, 31. We know in years past, he's got runs in him like this when his shot is falling that he can just go nuclear, especially he's taking double-digit shots. And he's taking double-digit shots. He's just not making them right now. But like Kelly Oubre at 4.2, always in play in a tournament. Absolutely. He could erupt today. You never know. 114-point implied total against Minnesota. He's getting minutes. He's taking double-digit shots. He's in play. Absolutely. Why is he not? Right? Is he a cash play? No. High value? Yeah. Standard deviation? Super high. Not safe. Based on what, Dewey? Where's the anecdotal data that you can provide me that says that's the truth? Because I think it's entirely opposite. Because if you allow DraftKings to crunch, you're going to get a bunch of 3K players like you're looking at right here. And then on the opposite side, you're likely going to get a fair amount of studs. 91% on LeBron, 95 Cat. They're the highest owned value. You're going to get studs and duds. And we know on DraftKings, studs and duds, not the way really to play. So removing the volatile value down here in the value range, the 3Ks, I think is important. I also think going to your groups, creating a group of those 3K players and saying like at most one or something like that would be fine. That's what I just said. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You don't want to be studs and duds 9K, 3K on DraftKings. We're talking, bro. I mean, Adi, that's not even like new to this year. That's just DraftKings. Like my friends, that's just DraftKings. I'm not trying to put anybody on blast here, but this is DraftKings in a nutshell for years. You make a group of the expensive. You make a group of the values. Oops. All right. And you don't want a million of these 3K players either. So I put at most one from the 3 to 4K range, at most one from the 9K plus range. Now I'm simply going to make sure all my players are back in my pool. And when I crunch out my lineups now, I'm not going to have all sorts of, 198, 92% of three guys who are 3.5, 3.3, and 3.9. That ain't going to work. Now my exposure is in the proper range. Look at this. 5.3K, 5.7K. And I didn't have 6K on Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, the guys that we've been talking about all morning. Kevin Huerter's been scoring, here and there some solid games as of late with DeAndre Hunter out, right? And now we're on the proper range. Mikal Bridges, 5K. LeVert, Smart, 5.4, 5. See, it's better. This is better. And if I sort by salary and I go look through here, I'm getting some higher exposure up here on one guy, and I can fix that. I can spread this exposure out as well. I could put the 9K above range at like an exposure cap of 15 or 10% or something. So it really spreads it out. That's super easy to do. If you're concerned about that. And I'll show you how to do that in a hot second. But when we go down here and we start looking now, look at our exposure, man. This is the tournament winning range on DraftKings. Don't get it backwards. 40, 23, 8%, 1%, 24%, 66%. This is where we live. Jaren Jackson, 6'3". Abso-freaking-lutely, man. Are you kidding me? Terry Rozier, absolutely. Don't even think about it. Podol, yeah. For sure. This guy was 7-1 before his injury. Derrick White, without Devin Vassell tonight. Maybe more minutes, more opportunity. So on and so forth. Y'all get it. Now we're living in the proper range. And you're like, well, hold on, Mitch. I don't want all my exposure. Okay, let me help you. Salary. You ready? I click that little bar. Click this filter button. Here's the 9K and above. I'm going to click the exposure tab right here. This is the edit filter button. Watch this. Let's do 12%. So out of my expensive range, can't have anybody more than 12% on. Now watch this. Oh, wow. Actually, you know what I ended up doing? Check this out. This is interesting to me too. It just took that 90%, gave 20% or so here to LeBron and Cat, and then the rest of that exposure just moved all of it to the 7K. Look, now I'm getting a bunch of Clint Capella, which I previously had not. D'Angelo Russell is now exploding. John Collins is exploding. I got a bit to Dre, a little bit to Lonzo, which these guys that were not there before. Jaren Jackson got like 20 more percent. Rozier is getting 15 more percent. So it took that exposure and it just spread it out. Now I have more to the mid-range. And I'm being honest right now, fam. Like, I honestly could go through this and, I'd probably adjust this a little bit for the pros up here, for the studs, to get a bit more exposure to different players. I don't know what range you want to put that on. This is also with one unique. So you could do like 3 uniques, and that'll spread it out a bit more as well. But I'm telling you right now, I mean, if I were to upload final projections at 6:30, like what I've done currently, where I've created my two groups, I did my 3K and I said at most one. I did my 9K and above at most one. I spread out my exposure at the stud level. I got one unique, and it's just casting a pretty wide net across all of those 4 through 8K price guys who are where you win the tournaments on DraftKings. Fair and balanced on DraftKings always has been the way to go. I shouldn't say always. It's been like that for like 3 seasons now. Fair and balanced is the way you win tournaments on DraftKings because there are always guys who have tremendous upside at that 7K, 8K range, 6K range where they're just weirdly priced. You know, any given night, Lonzo Ball can go for 50. You know what? He's 6.8K. A 41 out of a 6'8 Lonzo, you're happy as a clam. 53, 43. Now, that volatility in there, that's okay. That's also why he's priced at 6'8. Jaren Jackson at 6'3, a steal. 46, you're happy as can be. 42, you're happy as can be. All these 6X returns at 37, 36, 35, you're fine with. Terry Rozier, 6K, right? 53, 48. Yeah, he's going to have stinkers in there, but he's going to return you a 39, a 38, a 34, a 48, a 53, a 40. And you know what? That volatility that you see in his game logs, that is baked into his price tag. That is why he is not 8.7K. That is why he's not 9.3K like Trae Young. These higher priced guys on DraftKings are priced so high in a 50K salary site, and it just forces in all these 3K players. They just don't have the ceiling, which is why they're priced so low in the first place. Your Podals, your Whites, your Oubres, your Roziers, these guys, they have the ceiling you need. SGA listed as questionable now. Josh Richardson out, Jaylen Brown available to play. You remove volatile cheese. Nothing wrong with that, man. Do it all. Get rid of them. So a guy like Mikal Bridges. Yeah, I mean, those guys you can remove from your tournament pool. I think that's fine. Like if you do this, look, here's Mikal Bridges. And at 5K, Mikal Bridges, okay? Like we have a couple seasons of data here. And I think especially now with CP3 and Ayton coming to his own, Devin Booker there, like this and what was this? Cameron Johnson's playing significant minutes. Cameron Payne is playing good minutes off the bench as a scorer as well. It's like, yeah, you know what? Mikal Bridges, he doesn't really fill a lot of the boxes in there. He's out there playing some defense, getting some steals, hustling, more of a slasher, right? He's not creating his own points. Corner threes, I don't know, whatever. But it's like you want to remove Mikal Bridges at 5K? Okay. Just be mindful of what happens. Where's the rest of that ownership? You know what? That might be the play. Like instead of your 32% on Mikal Bridges, he's got that super low standard deviation. You can go up the Dort with a higher standard deviation, a little bit more volatility. But you know what? More often, he's going to get a higher score. And when he hits that high score, when they both hit their ceilings on the same slate, Dort's going to outscore him. Now, the one other thing to weigh into this situation is going to be the ownerships. There's so many different factors. Maybe Kevin Huerter here is a better option, right? Same price tag, same ownership. No DeAndre Hunter. Kevin Huerter, a guy we know can get into the 40s. We're getting them at a price discount right now. They got a million wings. If Bogdanovic misses, he's going to be a little bit higher on, though. Just be mindful of Huerter. So on and so forth. We could do this all day, but like a good example says Dewey, and I like this. I like this, bro. I like what you're saying. I think Derek Way is a fine example for the same reason why you did that I just brought up Mikal Bridges. My issue with guys like that, with like Derek White, is we've also seen him explode. What was his last blow-up game? Was it this one, the 22nd? Guys, I won like $3,000 that night. And you know what? I literally remember on Yahoo. This was Yahoo. I won it on Yahoo, I think. I remember looking at this. No. It was Draftkings. I had nice. Or was it Fanduel? I don't know. You guys can probably find it in the Winners channel. I remember looking at Derrick White and saying, no, it was, I took second place, I think, in the $15 on Fanduel, something like that, right? But I remember seeing Derrick White and just being like, ooh, take him out, Mitchell. Do it. You can do it. Because of the volatility. But I left him in there. Because I know Derrick White has a solid ceiling. When you're going to get it, who the heck knows? That's the tough part about it. But we're talking tournaments. I'm not worried about the volatility so much in a tournament. I'm looking at that high upside. And I know he's got that upside to win me a tournament. So I left him. Mikal Bridges, I mean, watch him go for 80 points. Thanks so much for these streams. I learned something new every day. Cool. Appreciate you. One of the more transparent channels. I make sure to set my notifications for your logic is second to none. Hey, thank you, William. You guys are too nice. I'm in contact with, I love doing FanDuel stuff too. I've been doing a lot more FanDuel because I love the FanDuel site. I've been winning so much money there, right? I mean, why wouldn't I not love it and support it? But I'm actually trying to set up like a listener league. So we've been getting, like, YouTube continues to grow, you know? It continues to grow. I'm trying to look at the numbers now. So we've gained like 2,000 followers since August, which is big for us because we've been on Twitch forever. The video views have been pretty solid. You know, that's a lot of listeners, right? We call them listeners, viewers, whatever. Some days 300, some days high 200. This is holiday time, mid 200s, you know, pre-holiday. We're talking 300, 370, 330, 350. So I contacted FanDuel because one of the, who was it? I don't remember. One of the members was like, dude, Mitch, you should look into doing like a listener league. I was like, you know what? That's a freaking good idea. A listener league. What are we doing here? Let's do it. So I'm in talks with them. I got to see if I can figure it out. That's all. I think that would be fun as heck. I mean, it would be something for us to talk about every day, too. Like, all right, let's go look at last night's listener league results. I tell you what, Aaron, I mean, I had a little combo with you in Discord this morning, too. You know, I think part of the reason why I've been winning more frequently over the last month or so is I have honestly just moved my money in play into the contests that I win more often, that I get a higher return out of, and I'm playing more money on the sites where I'm winning the most. And I'm playing the contests that I win the most. That's it. Why continue to bang away at, you know, site C or site D and continue to give away, you know, and for me, a couple $100 or $100 a night, something like that. Like, just move that money over to the site where you're winning a lot more. And you know what I have found here on FanDuel, and I'm showing you now, I've been doing a lot better when I review where my success is right now. I've been doing a lot better at 3-max, at these 3-max contests. So I got a whole list of 3-max stuff I'm entering tonight. I've been doing better at those than the 444 150 max, than the 555 150 max, the 222 25 max. I've been doing better on FanDuel specifically, using my cores, locking them, giving them thumbs up, and crunching out 3 lineups, 5 lineups, entering them across my lineups. However many entries I had set for tonight, 11. I'm doing 11 lineups tonight. You know what I mean? But that's not the same way in every site. Some sites are going to get more. Some sites will get less. Hey, appreciate that. I appreciate that too, man. I think that would be a lot of fun. I really hope that FanDuel and I are able to figure it out. What's up, Huskers? It's so great about donuts. He's always teaching and learning new things to help us all. Appreciate that, man. I love my community. I mean, shoot, Rise or Fall didn't start as a company. It started as a community. You guys remember the very beginning? Shoot, it was like $5 just to get access to like Discord. Because I was like, all right, we'll make it a private community. We'll do X, Y, and Z. It has turned into something totally different. And I left teaching to do it full time, right? But this always began as a, how can we help people get better at DFS? Do it with friends, with other people who are like-minded, who are trying to get better at DFS. How can we build a community, an atmosphere, a place where like-minded individuals who are trying to perfect their craft, get better at what they do, and who enjoy doing this and have a vision for doing this long term? How can we all get together in the same space and try to get better together? And then it turned into, it blossomed. Okay, cool. Wow, this many people want this? Okay. What kind of tools can we create? What kind of content and data can we give that will help people achieve those goals or facilitate learning? And we just set that atmosphere up. And honestly, it hasn't been like I've been sitting here with my brain trust thinking about X, Y, and Z that needs to be done because this is the best way. No. It's mostly just been, what do we see members struggling with? And how can we facilitate their growth in that area? That's it. That's literally how the birth of like every single thing on the website comes from that spot. What do people need help with? Okay, let's create that, or let's fill that hole. Yeah, right? I mean, shoot, we started in the middle of a pandemic. It was esports, MMA, PGA, NASCAR. That was the beginning. KBO. I mean, DFS is not sports specific. DFS, getting good at DFS does not have to be specifically in like the main sports. We got a $10 off promo code. Heck, you should be using it today. $10 off. Okay? $10 off. First month sign up. I think we got a cool photo for it too. There you go. Thank you, Bennett, for these. These are pretty dope. Not too shabby. Code NBA. All right. Love that. What's up? This is Mindset, right? You're a Mindset in chat? What is it? What's the full name? Metaverse Mindset or something. I've been around in the DFS space for a while. It can get lonely. Legit feels different with this crew. Really great job in the execution. Appreciate that very much. It is very kind of you to say, man. Love that stuff. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think it works mostly because we haven't gone about this as a business. The business aspect is always second to the community aspect, right? So if our goal is to continuously make things that we want to use personally as pros that we think are easy enough and efficient enough for the average user to go use, and then we gear it towards our community and their needs, I think the business stuff kind of falls into line on its own, doesn't it? You know, like we're not making something like, oh yeah, we can sell this. We can sell this to people. People will buy, they will sign up for this. No. It's more like people will use this. This is super efficient. This is solid for people who are living the dad life, hiding on the toilet, pretending their IBS flared up 15 minutes before lock, and they need some quick answers. So how can we make this core picks page? How can we get each of our pro staff up there giving away their core, their targets for the night? Okay. Well, what else do we need? Well, a lot of them are doing it on their cell phone or on their tablets while they're hiding on the toilet with their IBS, their NBA IBS that only flares up 15 minutes before lock every NBA season. So what do we need to do? We need to make sure the content is perfectly optimized for mobile. Okay, cool. We do that. We don't need to sell that. What's the point? We made this for you. It sells itself. It sells itself. That's why I don't have a marketing team. That's why I've not gone out and hired pro after pro after pro, like you see every other company doing. And then those pros have all their promo codes. They're all blasting that everywhere. Like, hey, we're just putting up good content, good quality tools, all this stuff. I'm going down the weirdest path, but I appreciate y'all. IBS NBA, best season on earth. Wife's in the other room putting it on blast. That's funny. That's funny. Anyways, appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Hit that like button on the way out, could you? Would you? I will see you, what's today, Friday? You never know. I might do a Saturday stream. I've done like 3 or 4 over the last month. I might do another one. If I don't, though, I'll see you Saturday morning with Detroit Beastie at 9 a.m. talking NFL DFS. And y'all have a good day today. Fortune favors the bold, baby. I'll see you on the inside.